I take regular fruit jars and I put about 4 or 5 little holes in it, small holes. Then I fill this thing half full of water and sugar. Then I just turn this bottom upwards like that, and I set this in the hole. Now when I set this in the hole, there's no bugs can get in there. The bees can go in the front, come up and get that without any robbers to bother them. Now the bees, I put an empty box on this here, just set another empty box on it, put a top on it. This is sealed in. And so when that gets empty, I just take this one out and slide this other right into place. And that way I can change their food real quickly. And these fits real tightly in there. They won't turn over. And so I use 2 hole saws. One, it's too big. If I put it in the whole jar, it would set down in there. But then I put that other one and I set it in there and it works out fine. So this here gives enough room in there for that. So this here, no bees come up here at all. And then also in the winter time, if I don't want to feed the bees, I can put a lid without the holes. I can just set that lid and that seals the top off completely. But when I get ready to feed them, then I can take this out and put my sugar syrup and stuff on them and feed them. So the top is made. It's really a good top. The inside of the top is like that. That's the inside. The bees can run around over that. But when you put it down in like that, that there it makes it ideal to take care of your bees, to give them plenty of stuff. Of course, you need flowers that will bloom all times of year. That's the best thing. So clover is the best thing in the spring would be the Japanese honey bush. That there is the first bush that blooms in the early spring, the Chinese honeysuckle bush, and I got thousands of them around over the years. So it takes, and you can start them from little cuttings, and in the catalog it costs you about $10–12 a plant, but you can start them from cuttings, and the next thing after the honeysuckle bush comes your Dutch clover, white Dutch, or your clovers that comes up. You plant that in the fall, about a month before the first Jack Frost. It'll come up and grow during the winter, and the next spring it will start to bloom. That'll be your first thing in the spring blooming with your early gallberry and other stuff that blooms down here. Sourwood will be a little bit later, but that's up north. But then after the clover gets over, then your Vitex is another one that blooms about 2 months real good, and it blooms about 3 months. And the bees get a lot of it. I got acres and acres of that over the years. So Vitex is a very good one to plant. Of course, you got these Chinese tallow trees and all these other trees and all of the other stuff that's around in your locality. So just think about having something for your bees the year round. And so if you can do that, your bees is going to be healthy. So a healthy bee can guard the hive, and with the hive cut down to where just a few bees guard the front of the hive, and you don't take all the bees to guard it. And if all of the holes in the side is sealed up, every hole is sealed up to where no mites, no nothing can get through. The only thing it can get through would be through the opening. And see the opening, it's got this here big opening on it. It's the bees there. And see that there, I cut that opening down, it was up 3/4 of an inch, all the way across there. Butterflies and stuff can go in there and web up the hive, bugs can go in there, big bees can go in there, and even little mouse can go in there. But in the wintertime, the bees will be all bobbed up, and the mouse and little stuff go in there and mess with the bees. But with this away, not big stuff can't get in, small stuff can. But just a few guard bees, instead of having a whole bunch of guard bees, they can be doing something else. And if you stop all the holes, it don't need no propus and stuff to stop up the cracks and stuff in the hive. So if you stop that up, and in the bottom of the hive, I bolt the top of the hive with 4 bolts. It's four bolts and 4 screws, and I screw them in. And I'll show you what the screws look like. I got I got these big long screws here, and you can see how long they are. They will go all the way through that, way on up into the box. See, way on up into the box there, see? And that holds, the whole works together. Now the storm blowed over 7 of my hives. It picked them up and carried them in the wood. This box, just the box and everything was still in good shape. After it going through the air, falling through trees, down, and it came down, and the only thing was done, it been a little bit placed on some of these landing boards. So that landing board is a very, very, very good thing for the bees, so the wind don't blow around and blow the bees off course. The bee, if they can make it to that hole, then they're safe going in. So that's why I put these here funnels to make the bees go in easily. So with the long screws holding that stuff down, and then I put any kind of stuff to glue the two boxes down to keep any cracks that any bugs can get in. So the inside of the hive, has got that there 5/32 hole in there. It's got the 5/32. Now I'll show you what one of the 5/32 holes looked like before I put it in there. Now this is what the 5/32 hole looked like. See, it's 5/32 hole. Now the honeybees cannot go through there. Now I put this on there and put honey underneath it, and all day long thousands of bees on this here thing here. I found only about a half a dozen bees. It was small enough to finally crawl through. But there's nothing, as long as there's no honey underneath it here, you'll have no problem with your bees. And this side here is smooth. This side is a little bit rough. So you put the smooth side up, and then the bees walk across this. All of the trash and stuff falls through this hole. And as soon as it goes through the hole, as soon as the bees go through the hole, very first, as soon as they walk through, the bees get at them and they fall through that onto that there Vaseline and honey, baby oil. So they fall through that and get stuck up. So that's why I pull that thing out every so often and clean it out and put new on it. So that there is I tried this out for 2 months, and for 2 months it's worked out fine. So I'm going to change all of my 30 hives or so over, maybe increasing. But by bolting this thing down and putting that stuff on it and using these here holes, then I think that I'm going to do real well. I had a real good crop this year, although I lost 10 hives due to that storm in February.